user-friendly. It is easier to figure out how to use the software. That said, Stream Elements feels like it can do more. Now, I'm gonna pull this onto the screen here. This is Streamlabs OBS. Now, once you get it set up, it's really not that bad. Here's the streaming button. Here's the recording button. So even when I'm recording for a YouTube video, I use this same exact software. I just hit start recording instead of start streaming. It works in layers, similar to Photoshop. For example, here's the camera layer. I can turn this on and off. Here's the chat box over on the right-hand side. You know, here's the game in the background. Like, it's layers. It's just like a Photoshop program, basically. This layer, or where is it? Right here. Redeems, giveaway, alerts. This is an invisible layer, but this is what makes the alerts pop up when we get a follower or a subscriber, stuff like that. Is that not OBS? This is OBS. This is Stream Elements, which uses OBS Studio. But this is not Streamlabs. So Slobs or Streamlabs, this is not Streamlabs. This is the other thing. This is what Stream Elements uses. I want to see the potato layer. That's not a layer. That's actually, so it's on the camera. And I hit a button on my Stream Deck over here, and it does the filter. And that's actually done with the program Snap Camera. So Snap Camera, basically my camera goes to Snap Camera, and then Snap Camera goes to the stream. So if I make a change on Snap Camera, it happens on the stream as well. And I've got a whole guide on that as well. If you do exclamation content, if you want to learn how to turn yourself into any filter available on, Snap, you can, very easily. So, what screen recording program do I use? I use OBS Studio, downloaded from Stream Elements. Scribbledog says, what other content creators influenced you to become a content creator yourself, if there was any? So, when I first started, there was no content creator that's, singular, convinced me to do this. Like, I knew of Ninja, but I don't like Fortnite. I prefer good games. I like RPGs. I'm sorry, I like RPGs. So there was no single creator that really inspired me to start streaming. It was, for me, it was more that I looked at streaming and I thought that looks fun. I want to try that. Now unfortunately, I hate the past me for doing this. I sat on that idea for a year. I'm sure so many of you can relate to this. Have you looked at something, you're like, oh, I might like to try that, and then it's a year or two before you actually try it. If I had started a year earlier, everything I could have another year of growth behind me right now. But I didn't. I waited a year before I sat down and tried it. Just do it.meme. I should have tried it earlier. Now, after I started, there was a couple. So there's a streamer named Prospering. Now, Prospering is... he's not a gargantuan streamer or anything like that. He's just another streamer doing his thing. Let me see if he's live right now. Is this guy... Oh, he is live. All right, I'm going to pause it because there's a rule that you can't stream another streamer. So he's got 92k followers. He's live right now. He is a Fortnite player. However, let me tell you exactly what it was that got you about him. Up until that point, I wouldn't say I was cussing like a sailor, but I would cuss occasionally just because I felt like I was supposed to. Well, I'm oh, what the fuck? Stuff like that. This guy does a family-friendly stream. He plays Fortnite. And he does, if you sub, you can play two matches with him. And he's really good. He'll often win the match. And so he was playing with kids on there. 10, 12-year-olds were on there joining these matches. And if he ever got anybody that joined his comms and they started swearing, he'd be like, hey, can we watch the language? We got kids. And they'd be like, and they were always like, oh, yeah, sorry. I never heard one of them throw a fit. They'd usually, he had enough respect from them that they would just usually apologize and move on. And for me, that was shocking. Because the people I was running into on the internet, they weren't going to apologize for bad language. And it was when I saw that guy, I was like, I don't have to act like a tool. I literally thought that. I was like, oh my God, I don't have to act like a freaking tool to be successful. The next person that influenced me, and again, I was already streaming at this point, was CohhCarnage. Now, CohhCarnage has been streaming 82 years. But I didn't know that he was... I didn't know of him before this moment. CohhCarnage If you don't know who he is, hang on just a second. So he is, I'm gonna pause. He's got 1.4 million followers. He is a full-time streamer. Yeah, he's OG, yeah, and he does variety streams. So like he beats a game, next game, beats a game, next game, beats a game, next game. He just tears through games. Massive YouTube channel, and family-friendly 95% of the time. So basically, Prospering and then CohhCarnage kind of showed me I don't have to act like a freaking tool. And I am so glad that I now that is not to say that you can't, run a stream where you use adult language or anything like that. But the thing is you don't have to. And I was very shocked by that. So I changed that about my own stream by my own choice. And it actually opened up a lot of doors for me that I didn't even realize were closed. Like certain sponsors started contacting me. Like there was one sponsor that contacted me once, and after we set everything up, and they were basically paying me a lot of money for basically one evening's worth of work, just showing off their game. And they said, "Do you have any questions?" I was like, "Yeah, if I may. You're the first company I've worked with. Can I ask what made you decide to come to me?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, Julia said hi in Co's chat. Oh, did she?" And I said, "What made you guys come find me?" Because I didn't approach them. And they said, "Oh, well, we're plugged in with Stream Elements, and we can see data on everyone that uses Stream Elements." And I said, "Okay." And they said, "So what we did is we did a search for everyone that plays RPGs similar to our game." And I was like, "Okay." And then they said, "This streams at least X hours at a time and X days per week." And I streamed 7 days a week, so I was way over. And I was like, "Okay." And they said, "And that doesn't swear a lot, because we don't want to be embarrassed by you." And I was like, "Oh." And then they said, "Also, don't play Minecraft or Fortnite. We filtered those out. Those never work." What was that last one? And they're like, they never work out. And I was like, "Okay." That's a true story. That's a true story. They filtered that one specific company filtered out the Minecraft and Fortnite streamers. They didn't want those. They have data for that? Apparently so. So I ended up doing a lot of sponsored things that Stream Elements found me, and then eventually, the Stream Elements kind of has like a partner program. It's called the Dream Team, and basically you get better support when you ask for stuff. But like I got a lot of sponsorships through them, then joined that team later on. But yeah, so switching to the Stream Elements OBS thing actually ended up making me a lot of money in the long run that I didn't realize that was going to happen. But I don't know. Streamlabs might have something similar. Okay, so let's see. What microphone? Okay, so this is the second question from Aru. I switched to a question from chat. What microphone and camera do you use, or do you have a cheap recommendation for someone to use until they can look at a more expensive option? Okay, hardware. So if you do !PC in my chat, that pulls up a link. And this is on my website, and this is all the hardware I'm currently using. And these are Amazon referral links. Hey, you know what? Hey, segue. If you ever shop on Amazon, if you use that link, you support this channel with every purchase, and it costs you nothing extra. #ad. Okay, back to you, Bob. So I'm using a Blue Yeti microphone, which you can see right here, and it's on a mic arm, which is here. It's very dark, so it's hard to see, but it is attached to the desk. And I'm also using the camera. You can see there the Logitech 922X Pro Stream. True story, when I was trying to decide what camera to buy, I was using a much crappier camera early on. And I was using a headset with a mic on the headset that sounded like crap in my first streams. And you can go back and watch. It's bad. When I saved up enough money to get a camera, I literally went to a bunch of the top streamers online, Ninja included, and just looked at what their camera was. Because most of us have like a hardware button under the stream. And they all had this one. So I was like, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And I got that one. I'm not a hardware guru. That was how I chose that one, and I've been using it ever since. So over 2.5 years, I've been using this one, and it's been fine. The Blue Yeti, in the last 3 years, I've had to replace the Blue Yeti one time, and I just bought another Blue Yeti. But it just, something broke, and it just completely stopped working. I got a new one, and it's fine. So it lasted me 2+ years, and then I got a new one, and I just got the same model again. But yeah, that's my hardware. I do not consider myself a hardware guru. I basically will absorb knowledge from other people for hardware purchases, and then just go on with my life. That's me. As far as a cheap recommendation to use, if you don't have enough for these, two things. One, your audio is more important than your video. People will watch a stream with rough camera work if the sound is good and the gameplay is good and maybe you're funny. They will not put up with you sounding like a banshee. They will not put up with that. If you have to choose, upgrade your audio or your hardware first, upgrade the audio first. Then you ask for a cheap recommendation for an alternative. On YouTube, there's a channel called Alpha Gaming, run by Harris Heller. Actually, he was rebranding recently. Hold on, let me see if he's already changed the name of the channel. Give me just a second. Okay, it is still Alpha Gaming. All right, Alpha Gaming. 634K subscribers. So Alpha Gaming constantly reviews hardware. And you can see right here, a new webcam, some lights, this advanced capture card. They review hardware. I've got a lot of respect for their, basically their videos on this stuff. So I would recommend looking through this and seeing what they have to say about the stuff that you're interested in. So I'll plug them for that. Buck, explain to me what is wrong with sounding like a banshee. I mean, if you're just trying to, cater to other like-minded banshees, possibly nothing. Yikes. Okay, so... Monk, have your views changed about the DE meta since the changes? Not trying to stir the plot. To be... now, that's not really what we're talking about right now, but it's a quick question. The Dragon's Den meta in Guild Wars 2. It took me 16 hours before I got one group that was able to successfully do it, and I got it, and I never went back. So I cannot accurately judge the changes they've made because I have not gone back. And it burned me out. I have no interest in going back. It's not fun for me anymore. So my view is, I'm not trying to convince anyone else of my view. I'm just like, I'm not going back there. That's it. That's me right now. Muck is my second monitor content creator, as I appreciate the good sound. Let's do a run tonight. No. Okay. The next question from Aru. Question number 3 from Aru. What do you wish you were more prepared for as a content creator when you started out? And I'll just put this up on the screen for right now. That's this one. What do I wish I was more prepared for? I mean, there's a ton of stuff I wish I had known better when I first started out. If I had, if I had known what I know now, then I could probably have. I wasted the first 5 months. It honestly feels like I wasted the first 5 months. If you are streaming, let's say I was starting from 0 and I was starting today and I started to stream, I had 0 views. And then the next day I stream and I had 0 views. And the next day I stream and I had 0 views. At that point, I'm doing it wrong. You cannot just stream and stream and stream until hopefully someone lands on your page and then they like you and they stay. And then just keep doing that until you accrue, an audience. Now, if you're having fun, that's fine. But I'm talking to people that are trying to build up, And for most of us, if we're streaming, we want at least one person to see it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have hit the start streaming button. So early on, I wish I had spent more time on YouTube work. If there was a snowball down a hill moment for me, it was when I made a few choice guides for Guild Wars 2 that blew up. And I wish I had gotten into that sooner. If so, I could have, hit those growth spurts much, much sooner. But essentially, it was here's my Twitch for months and months and months and months and months. I started YouTube. I made a few choice videos, and it went wham! It shot ahead of my Twitch in a heartbeat. And Twitch was so much older than my YouTube. And then people from YouTube started visiting my Twitch and pulling both up. Fast forward to today. Again, my Twitch is like many, many months older than my YouTube. I have almost 45,000 Twitch followers, but on YouTube I have 62,000 subscribers. So my YouTube that was made after my Twitch has 17,000 more people. So what do I wish I had done like early on? I wish I had done that a lot sooner. So do I wish I was more prepared for it? Yeah, so like anyone that gives you the advice, like, oh, you know, it's a grind. It's a grind. You just keep at it. No, that's terrible advice. That worked when there was like 5 streamers on Twitch. Did you, like, at one of Asmongold's very first streams, he had like 10,000 viewers. He was one of the only people that was there. Like, that's not good advice. It is not just a great thing. You know, what is it? Work smarter, not harder. Like, if you're streaming to 0 viewers, and then you end the stream, it is very unfortunate, but no growth happened that day. Okay? If you got no followers that day, no growth happened that day. What else could you do in your off time? You know? You could go on Reddit. You could do interactions with Reddit. You could do interactions with YouTube and TikTok, Instagram. I don't use those last two, but I know people that have gotten a lot of success there. Twitter. There's a lot of stuff that you could do there to point people to your stream. In my case, most of it comes from YouTube work that I've done. Hey, here, quick poll of the audience right now. If you're willing, the first time you encountered me, was it on Twitch or YouTube or other? Can you just flood the chat? Just tell me where you first found me. And let's just look at it. All right, so one that says Discord. Goodness gracious. So we see there, for every time you see the word Twitch, I'm seeing the word YouTube like 20 times. YouTube, but not your channel. Oh, was it like a collab podcast or something? That's another thing. Collabs are huge for growth. If you can get someone that is around your size or larger to do a collab, you know, like a... You should have left me sleeping. Hi, Cerberus. If you can get someone to do a collab with you that's around your size or larger, that is huge growth. And it's basically cross-pollination. Some of their viewers might like you, some of your viewers might like them, and then you both may grow as a result of that. YouTube, why you should play Guild Wars 2. What's up, Julia? Funny enough, Julia, I remember when you were thinking about trying Guild Wars 2, I was on your Twitter going, ah! But you didn't see it. But then you found me days later through that video. So, yeah. What do I wish I was more prepared for? Twitch is really great in some ways. Like, a lot of it is the stigma. Like, if you ask a random person, like, what website can you watch video game streams on? Most of them, the first thing they think of is Twitch. And that's something they've got going for it. Like, that's just what you think of. Even though the YouTube gaming space is larger, people think of Twitch as being the leader in that aspect. However, there's no discoverability. And when you're offline, you're basically dead. Like, no one finds you when you're offline. For example, until I started doing YouTube stuff, I never ever got a follower when I was not live. Okay? When I started doing the YouTube stuff, now I might get 10 to 50 on a really wild day, but on average maybe 20-something followers a day when I'm not online. Because they see something on YouTube they like, they go to my Twitch, they follow, and they're like, might check this guy out again later. So, yeah, you really have to use both if you want to grow. I was looking at yours 2 stuff on YouTube, mostly when Potatoes found you your videos and checked out your Twitch a month or so later. My boyfriend showed me your stuff via Discord stream. Gotcha. I think it was a legendary crafting guide on YouTube. I found Muck by way of raid from another streamer not playing Guild Wars 2. OnlyFans? Well, I had to close that down. Twitch wasn't about that anymore. Let's say Guild MM. Experienced, washed up chicken McNobody. Question, did you decide to cut funding for Dennis and his news station? Oh no! No! Technical difficulties! No, we're still here. No, the news station is still there. I just don't use it as much anymore. Fun fact, so that was a whole segment that I made where I was basically reporting the Guild Wars 2 news in that newsroom. And there was a lot of people. Now, again, for every 30 people that say, oh, I like this, you have one that says, I hate you, and you only remember the one. But it felt like there was a lot of people that was like, can you turn the filter off? You're a freaking, we're all adults here. This is so annoying. Just tell me the freaking news. And I was like, okay. And I stopped using it. So I still occasionally get the newsroom or get Dennis out for various stuff. But it was like, I got a bunch of like negative comments on YouTube videos, and that's why I stopped doing it. That was the thing. Sick us on all of them? No, I'm not going to be a streamer that eats my audience and other people. How much do you pay the actors that you hired to play the role of your wife's son and cat? I mean, he's living the good life down there right now. He is paid in scritches and belly rubs and lots of food. Okay. Let's see. Do you have any questions for chat? Maybe a poll that you always wanted to do? I'm not shy. Typically, if I have a question for you guys, I just ask it. Let's see. Okay, next one. Chaos. Interested in content creation. Question. How do set it up so you can be in Discord with other people talking while streaming a game so that on your stream, you can only hear the game, but you do hear Discord and the game? You need what's called a voice meter. So I know there is a program called Banana Voice Meter. It's a pain to set up, but if you it is a free program. You can download Banana Voice Meter, and then you can find a YouTube video on how to set up Banana Voice Meter, and you can basically set it up that the sound will separate into channels. And you'll hear some things and the stream will hear some things, but it's not the same. And you can use that to where you hear your friends on Discord, even if they're like cussing, and it doesn't go through your stream. There is probably other ways to do it. That's the one I'm familiar with. Okay. The Dennis videos are what drew me to peek at live today. Weird to hear someone didn't like it. What's up, Dalio? All right, so Sly Squid. Experience in streaming, none at all. I'm asking for a friend who's interested in doing video editing and streaming. Number one, I know you have an editor currently, so this may be more of a question for Noxy, but is there a preference for specific programs to edit videos? I know that you use DaVinci Resolve, in your YouTube editing videos, but do you have any experience in other programs? I mean, I went from Lightworks, which I don't recommend, to Shotcut, which is great if all you're doing is just like a montage. Like, clip, 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 clip. That's it. Shotcut can do that, and it's very easy to use. After that, I went to DaVinci Resolve, which is what I'm doing now, which does that stuff plus more. Now, Noxy uses like 19 programs, and when she hits render, her computer goes, and it just like takes off for like 5 hours. So it makes me feel terrible when I'm like, hey, there was at 6 minutes and 4 seconds, there was a typo. Can you fix this? Because then she's like, because it's going to take her whole computer hostage again for another freaking half a day to re-render the thing. She's using a lot. I know like Adobe After Effects was a big one, but there's a lot going on there, and I don't know the names of all of them. Otherwise, I would just tell you because this is a Q&A. What did you look for in your editor? Charm, wit, charisma, appeal, Hungarian. I only work with Hungarians. No, is there a specific reason you were looking for when you decided to hire Noxy? Is there anything that you were avoiding when looking? Yeah, there was... Let me see if I can find it. What was the... It was a PvP tournament that Mighty Teapot did. And Noxy edited... was it Masters of the Arena? Mighty Teapot Mota. Was this it? Hang on a second. Created by Noxy. Okay, I think this was it. Okay. We're gonna take a minute to watch this. I want you guys to look at this from the perspective of you're looking for an editor that can do cool stuff. All right, I'll pause it there because I think you get the idea. So essentially, I already knew of Noxie as a content creator in the Guild Wars 2 space, and I already knew she could freaking edit. Now, a quick note here for any of you who have never edited. It takes a gargantuan amount of time. Like, Noxie is in the chat right now, and she said it took me a month to get the footage for this video. This video is 2 minutes long. It took her a month to do the prep, and then she said it took 15 hours to render. God knows how much. So, like, this was a massive project. Like, me and Noxie currently are churning out a video every day. They do not all look like this. This is what you could possibly get if you give a good editor a freaking month to work on something, okay? Like, the more time that goes into something, the better it will look. But sometimes you have to be like, okay, well, we've got enough content to make 30 videos. We're going to sacrifice quality to get more quantity out. You know, and you got to make a choice. Especially if it's just like a, funny moments montage, and, it's just a smaller thing as far compared to, like, if I made a guide for something that might still be getting clicks 3 years from now. So I already knew Noxie that was a talented editor. I was at the point in my growth that I could just barely afford an editor, and it's an investment. I'm basically taking a very large portion of what money I'm making and then giving it to someone else and hoping that helps me grow more. And Noxie posted, I believe on Twitter, that she was looking for work in editing. Because at the time, Noxie had a day job. And I don't know if I have permission to talk about it, so I won't. But she hated it, and she wanted to know if anyone needed an editor, because she was like, if I can get someone that wants an editor, I want to quit my job and do this full time. And I messaged her, and I was like, if I can afford you, I would. And she's like, and I had to hound her for a while. She was just like, why would you want me? I'm like, you are good. I've seen your stuff, and you know Guild Wars 2, which means, like, sometimes when I ask Noxie to make, like, I'm like, hey, here's all the pieces to put together to make a guide for Cairn. She'll sometimes go through it, and she'll be like, oh, you forgot about this mechanic. And I'm like, what mechanic? She'll add stuff to a guide. There are some times, only a couple, I've learned about a boss mechanic when I watched my own finished guide for it, because Nox added it and I didn't see it. And I was just like, oh wow, I've just healed through that this whole time. So she knew the stuff. Now, she's also made some guides for me for other games. I made a guide for Hades when it came out, Valheim when it came out, Pathfinder. And those took a lot longer because I had to teach Noxie how to play the game. Then she was able to help me teach others how to play the game. But Guild Wars 2, she knows it all. It's easy for her. She's a professional. So what was I looking for in an editor? Skill, someone within my budget. And then, you know, the fact that she already knew all about Guild Wars 2 was a huge bonus because I didn't have